This video is for anyone studying the poem Trees by Owen Sheers in his collection Skirrid Hill. In terms of perspective, the poem is written in the second person. The word you is repeated throughout. For me, this gives the effect that the poet and the speaker are the same person, and that the speaker in the poem is a younger Owen Sheers. You may completely disagree, and that's absolutely fine. In my opinion as well, the you in the poem is his father, or at least some kind of father figure. You might also disagree with this. It's very common throughout the collection for Sheers to use you or we and to include other people in his poems. In terms of form, the poem is arranged in couplets. The lines are paired together. In my opinion, you naturally pause between each couplet, and this slows the pace of the poem. I think the poet has chosen to do this because the speaker feels a lack of urgency, because the speaker is apprehensive. His feelings are mixed about what the planting of this tree means. This is emphasised at the end of the poem when the form changes and the line stands alone. At the end of the poem, I think the poet wanted to emphasise the speaker's mixed feelings. He's not sure whether the planting of this tree will mean the rising or the setting of something good. In terms of structure, for me, the poem opens quite neutrally. The speaker is simply asking neutral questions about the tree, how long it will take to grow. The turning point, though, is the line, "And I realise I should have known." Here, the speaker has got a minimal response from his father when he's asked a question, and he starts to feel apprehensive and inadequate. The rest of the poem, then, for me, is an indication of these apprehensive and unsure feelings about what the planting of this tree means. In terms of language, let's look at one metaphor that Owen Sheers uses. In the 5th stanza, "A finger-thick sapling drawn by the breeze into a long bow." The speaker could be seeing the longbow as a weapon that is potentially threatening. However, it's been drawn by the breeze, it's been bent by the breeze, it's thin and malleable, and that doesn't sound at all threatening. On the next line, the longbow is loaded. If a weapon is loaded, that increases its threat. However, it's loaded with promise of what it will become. You might see promise as an optimistic, pleasant word, and perhaps the speaker is optimistic about the potential that this new family member or the new tree is going to bring. Finally, you might see that a longbow is not a longbow at all. You might read it as a long bow, and a bow, of course, is deferential and respectful, and that might change the entire meaning of these two lines for you. When thinking about social and historical context of Owen Sheers' poems, it's important to remember the impact that Wales had on his life. He grew up in Wales. So this tree is being planted in a field, we assume, in Wales. There have already been 3 planted in the north, south, and west of the house. So perhaps there's been 3 children and a tree is being planted in homage to each of them. The only space left, we assume, is the east of the house. If the house is in Wales and you look at Wales on a map, we assume that the tree is going to be facing England. Have a think about Wales's relationships with England, Owen Sheers' feelings about England, Owen Sheers' family's potential feelings about England, and the reasons why this tree being planted nearest to England might be significant. Of course, there is also the fact that this tree is being planted in the top field. That might also be significant to the speaker's feelings in this poem.